Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Special Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee for the Village of Hoffman Estates on this September 8th, 2020 to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Stanton.
Present.
Vice Chairman Arnett.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. New business, we have one item. Request authorization to award a contract for the Village Green Phase 1 Improvement Project to V3 Construction Group LTD of Woodridge, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $911,000.
So moved. A second.
Thank you. Yes, why don't you walk us through, please, Ryan?
Absolutely. This is a request for authorization to award a contract to V3 Construction for Phase 1 of the construction improvements over at the Village Green. V3 was the low bidder of 7 bids received for this project at $911,000. V3 is familiar with the Prairie Stone Business Park. They did quite a bit of the work initially when the Prairie Stone Business Park was built. And it's also a contractor that the village is familiar with. TRIA Architecture is the village's consultant for the Village Green project, and they conducted reference interviews and also verified TRIA's bid submittal materials. TRIA subsequently submitted a letter of recommendation for V3, which is attached to the packet as well. This phase includes earth moving, concrete, and electrical work in the large southern area of the Village Green. Construction could begin as early as next week, and substantial completion is planned for November 27th of this year.
Any questions from anyone? Yes, Hannah.
I have only one question. Any chance for a grant or anybody give us money towards this?
Microphone, please.
Can hear you, Anna.
Oh, you can hear me? Oh, okay. How about now?
Yeah.
Okay. Any chance for grants or anybody give us money towards this somehow? No?
That we're aware of, but.
So, we should have mentioned, so the funding source is there is a capital fund for Prairie Stone project, so we do have the funds already set aside in an account for this particular project. So this phase is covered, and a few other minor things, but future significant phases, at this point, we don't have sources identified.
Okay.
We would get through this first, and then grants would certainly be something we would be looking for in the future.
Okay.
Mayor, you have a question?
Yeah, now those monies have to be spent in the Prairie Stone Business Park, is that correct?
Correct. This is
Okay.
a residual from the EDA, so this
Okay.
is part of that pool of funds that goes to improve things in the park.
Okay, great, thank you.
Trustee Mills.
Given that we have the money for this portion of the construction, what happens if we get through this portion and we do not have the funds? Can this exist on its own?
Yes, it can.
Okay.
This is the largest part of the park, the southern area, where there are currently 2 hills. There's the viewing hill that's currently there for the amphitheater, and then on the east side, there's also another smaller hill. That hill would be removed, that smaller hill, and added in to make the viewing hill for the amphitheater larger, so it could have larger crowds. So this would stand on its own, and future improvements would be based off of where this starts.
That's the next thing I was getting to. Given that we're televising this, we really should at least mention what work's going to be done, in case people have any questions.
Absolutely. So the work consists of 2 plazas. One will be an entry plaza just off of Prairie Stone Parkway, so that it's easier to see the entrance to the Village Green. That will then have a spine sidewalk that runs north up to a central plaza. That central plaza will be just west of the concessions building, and that will be an area that can be programmed for other uses in the future. And we'll also have electric run for bollards, like the bollard lighting that goes on the sidewalks. We'll have on the east side of the park a mobile vendor area where food trucks could be parked. That'll have a couple of pole lights, and those will be controllable over at the concession building.
Okay, good. And the existing amphitheater will still be as is?
Yes, that would stay as it is.
Okay, thank you.
We were going to have an archway or a gateway feature entering Plaza Phase 1, right, or something like that?
That is part of the Phase 1 improvements. It's not a part of this current contract because the designs are still being reviewed. It'll give a little bit more time for the village to review those, for the ad hoc committee to take a look at the different gateway designs and choose one that fits the park the best.
Do we have estimates on how much that would run?
We don't currently. We believe north of $50,000 for the gateway.
Okay, so it would still fit within the budget that we have?
It would be.
That would be on top of the contract amount tonight. The estimate overall for the project was about $1 million. So this bid came in at 911. So there is still some cushion in the funds left to pay for the gateway. So it'll be the 911 plus whatever the gateway is, and that'll be bid out as a separate, smaller project, probably going to a different kind of contractor because it's going to be more of a signage type structure, not mass grading and utilities like this. So,
Trustee Mills?
Was one of the other projects we talked about out here have to do with additional handicap parking areas? Wasn't that something that had come up at one point?
I think part of the master plan, I believe, there was some talk about parking. Actually, the longer range plans included reworking the right-of-way, Prairie Stone Parkway, to try and incorporate parking into that. Those were more down the line.
Okay, that's what I was wondering,
Yeah, this first phase is really
mainly the
it's
hills.
predominantly grading, and one thing Ryan kind of mentioned, but maybe isn't as clear, is while they're removing the one hill and creating a flat area, the existing hill that does kind of serve the existing amphitheater, that is going to be regraded and reshaped to be more purposeful and really have a greater capacity. It wasn't ever really designed for the size of concerts that are out there now.
Right,
So this new design will also enhance the viewing hill for the
Okay.
existing amphitheater. So that's another benefit to this stopping after this phase. It'll definitely result in a higher quality facility that'll work better for what we're doing, even if we just stop at Phase 1 for now.
okay,
So it'll be able to be a true benefit for the next few years until we're able to figure out the next step.
okay, thanks.
Now, weather permitting, they expect to be done sometime in November?
That is absolutely the plan. In fact, I think 6 out of the 7 contractors all indicated they would be able to meet the November date. So we have a pretty consistent agreement from the contractors that it's doable. One of them, just because of their other workloads, had proposed in their contract that they finish in the spring, which would have been a cost difference. But the fact that 6 out of the 7 felt confident that they could meet that deadline gives us some confidence that can happen.
Is that built into the contract? If they're not done by that certain time, certain money comes back to us? Or no?
There's no exact monetary withholding, but they do need to complete everything by November 27th. Or we can put other stipulations into play, I suppose.
Okay. Anyone else with any other questions up here? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. And that leads us to an adjournment.
So moved?
Second.
Thank you. Any opposed, or? I should ask, all those in favor of the adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the ayes have it. We are adjourned.
Good evening. I'd like to go ahead and call the Special General Administration and Personnel Committee for the Village of Hoffman Estates on September 8th, 2020. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Arnett,
Present.
Vice Chairman Mills,
Present.
Trustee Stanton,
Present.
Trustee Newell,
Present.
Trustee Palafis,
Present.
Trustee Gata,
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. We have one new item under new business, discussion regarding Halloween trick or treat hours. Mayor?
Well, I think the desire was to decide what we're doing in advance of Halloween, obviously, because we have a newsletter that'll go out for October, and we have social media, so I think we have to make some kind of decision. We did get some input from some homeowners in Hoffman Estates. I sent copies on to you from some folks. You got a copy of what Highland Park's doing. I think the reality is that people are the kids are gonna trick or treat anyway, probably. So how do we keep them as safe as possible? The Park District is doing their drive-by event. That's good, if people are afraid of venturing door to door. And one thing that I would recommend would be that get a table at the end of the driveway. Adults got to be present back. The candy should be sealed somehow, and let them just take a bag. But the purpose is to find out where everybody else is on this, not where I'm at, so.
Trustee Mills?
In looking over, and I see we had the stuff from Highland Park and Skokie here, you know, I tend to agree that we shouldn't authorize trick-or-treating this year. I think we should discourage and ask people, they should just do it whatever their families feel is best, first of all. Even if we say it that way, I think we should maybe say absolutely nothing later than a certain time, as we normally do. My idea, though, is I'd almost like to see us partner with the Park District and move their event out to Sears Arena, where it's larger. Maybe see if they can still change the date from the 24th to the 31st. And actually offer other businesses, if they want to set up a table out there too, let people come and drive through there and do it that way. I think that's the safest and fun way. And another thought that came to me last night, it'd be neat if Sears Arena, with the movie theater they got, the outside movies they've got going, if they did some type of a kids movie just at dusk that we could, you know, tune this into, where people could then stick around and maybe buy hot dogs for the kids if they want it and watch a movie. And, you know, that would be my idea of what would be a good way to, something different and something safe. Then again, do we have to worry about liability by doing something like that with other groups? You'd have to have some type of a legal opinion on that. If other companies are setting up tables, do we become liable if there's a problem with their candy? We're not liable if we authorize trick-or-treat hours as it is now. But that was just a thought that I had on this one. It was floating around in the brain last night.
Trustee Gata? Sorry, Ann.
Do you know what, though? As far as with the kids, they've been deprived so much this whole summer, all right, as far as anything going on. And the thing is that I agree with you, Trustee Mills, on that, as far as, yes, we could have something like a drive-in or even what, I didn't even think about the movie thing. And you know what, I know like at Haverford, what we always do, we used to put 3 or 4 pieces in a bag, and we've been doing that for 15 years now. And we could do the same thing here, right? Budget, I don't think there's any problem on budgeting for candy because we've eliminated everything. But it is important not only for the kids, but also for their parents, right? When they get dressed up on that. And yes, we have to watch, and yes, we have to be concerned about the pandemic and everything. But I think something can be done, just like you were saying, or at the now theater, all right, our theater, and the parking lot for even the drive-through, okay? But that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Trustee Newell?
This thing does not work right, okay. I had the same thought as Trustee Mills and Gata, which I was thinking about the drive-through through the Now Arena, okay? Partner up with the Park District and at least give the kids a chance to be out there and get their costumes, and whether it's cold or warm or snowing, because we've had October where it snowed, Just do something like that. I think it's a little bit more safer than them going door to door. I think we should do it during daylight hours, though. Nothing in the dark. I also like the movie idea, which is, I think, really, really cute. But I do like the idea of them just doing a drive-through. That seems to be the norm. Partner up with the park district. I don't think it's gonna cost us all that much money. I mean, we have money a lot of times put aside for Septemberfest or 4th of July. I mean, just, just to see their little faces and have a good time and be safe. I think that that's the thing. But I think we should send that, the ones that are going to be sneaking out there, just say, 3 to 5 or something like that, and don't allow them, because there are people out there too that, I don't know, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree on the partnering with the park district. Maybe have something set up the way that Lincoln School had it last year in their parking lot, but only, at the Now Center. And if we can get different vendors out there, that would be great too. I totally agree on the hours. I don't think it needs to be 4 hours. The kids are going to have enough candy in their system that the parents are going to kill everybody probably by the end of the night. So, I agree with the Now Center and partnering with the Park District.
I don't know how set the Park District is with their Saturday, the 24th. But I don't want us to try and compete against them with it.
Right.
So I did speak to the Park District last week, and they noted that out of the 200 slots, they had already sold out 150 of them. So the date change may not be possible. Obviously, we can ask them, but the location change, they said they were open to that. And actually, I talked to Katie Burgess over there, and she got very excited about the concept and about how much more they could do. Because apparently there's not a lot of other events for Halloween. Halloween-themed events this year are way, way down, obviously, for obvious reasons. So they've had a lot of good traction. She said they had thousands and thousands of views on their Facebook event for this. So I think there's a lot of interest out there. But, obviously they would need to partner with us in order to be able to expand it to the level that they would like to do.
Trustee Stanton, did you have?
Yeah, I'm going to be a spoil sport here. We've canceled every other event this year because of the pandemic, and I don't see why we just don't cancel this as well. Halloween is, a special occasion, but it's really not a great holiday, to be honest with you.
Such a Scrooge.
I am a Scrooge regarding Halloween. I don't mind Karen, Trustee Mills' idea. I think that's a good idea, actually. But as far as door-to-door, that part I'm against.
Yeah, I don't. Anybody else? Trustee Palafis?
I guess I'll go last. I kind of see, all of the points. I think people are going to exercise their freedoms and liberties. I think we just need to emphasize that whatever we do or who we partner with or what they decide to do, just do it safely, and make good choices. That's, I think, the primary thing in terms of my perspective.
Okay. So if the Park District cannot, sorry, Mayor, go ahead.
No, I think whatever we decide, we got to set the hours. And again, always if people don't want to participate, turn your porch lights off, don't put them on, that type of thing, so people know what the deal is.
The Highland Park information that came out today is actually really good and comprehensive, and it gives people options and guidance as well. So we could do something similar.
So the first probably option would be to talk to the Park District, right?
Well, I've already spoken to them.
Okay.
I think it's more about what the board decides to do or the committee and sort of what level of involvement we'd like to have. So it sounds like the Now Arena would be a go. Obviously, we would need to speak to the management over at the Now Arena to make sure that that is possible. And they do have a drive-in movie that's kind of going on right now, and I don't know how long into the season that's going to keep going. So whether there would be an option out there for a movie, we'd have to look into that a little bit further.
Okay. Trustee Mills?
Well, I'd still really, if we're going to do something like that, I'd like to see us at least doing it on the actual date, to discourage people from going door to door. We just probably should publicize it as we do not encourage kids to be going door to door this Halloween. However, it's up to their families to make that decision, not us. and in no case should it be after X time limit. But then, I mean, if we do it the week before, that's going to encourage them all to be out on Halloween itself. That's the only problem.
True.
One other alternative could be if the village wanted to organize a similar event separate from the Park District. Obviously, the issue there is the Park District has all the expertise and the knowledge on running these events, and they already have a plan in place, and they'd be ready to kind of jump in and help us out with that, whereas it becomes a significant commitment for the
So
village.
they actually register the people.
Yes, so there are no drop-in events allowed right now under the governor's orders. So anything that the Park District does requires advanced registration. And so there is a $10 fee for each car that wants to participate. But, you can have as many people in your car as your car will hold. But they did have to do that in order to be compliant under state rules right now.
Couldn't we talk, the Daily Herald and the Now Arena did do that character drive-through out there where they registered people in that. Who ran that? And they would have some input from that, I would think, whoever did that.
I don't know who ran that on behalf of the Sears Center Now Arena staff. But that was an event that was run through.
Nice if we'd
run
get
through
the
them.
Daily Herald to work with us on it.
There you go. Yeah, and Katie did also mention, Katie from the Park District, that she started spitballing characters and all sorts of different things that they would be able to do and expand if they were able to secure the location of the Now Arena parking lot.
Trustee Gator?
Yes, you know what, Trustee Stanton, we canceled everything for the rest of the year. And there were some that did not want us to do that, but yet we were doing that for the public to make sure, right, from a safety standpoint, that I think maybe you're right. Maybe we should stick with what we started, and when we have canceled everything out, that this is just another one of those things that falls into that category. That's all I have. Thank you.
I think no matter what we decide, they're going to go trick-or-treating, whether we say, no trick-or-treating or not. I mean, we can't stop them. We can't sit there and police say, no, you cannot, you can't do it. We're just trying to, for safety reasons. I mean, I do kind of agree with, we have canceled everything else, Trustee Palafis?
Well, I mean, we canceled the July 4th celebration, and it caused some of the best neighborhood fireworks I've ever seen. So I don't care what you think in terms of what we can and can't cancel under our jurisdiction or authority. But people, like you said, people are still going to do things. They're still going to collect. They're going to, they're going to, I mean, and what are we going to do to enforce if we outlaw it? Are we going to do a hire back of everybody in the police department to go out? And I mean, it's just, the reality is such that people are going to exercise that right to do something. And I like the idea of giving them an alternative on the same day.
Mayor?
Yeah, I think that Trustee Plavas makes a good point. The events we canceled were our events. Halloween is not a village event.
Right.
We can't cancel Hanukkah or Christmas or Rosh Hashanah or any other events. This is not our event. The question is, how can we encourage people to do it in the safest way? And coming up with a really probably very, very safe way, the suggestion from Trustee Mills is one good one. But again, you're not gonna stop people from going
No.
around.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen. Unless Ted Boss is gonna arrest every kid.
No, I think we just have to publicize that we're not encouraging.
Right. And if you don't want to participate, then you don't leave your lights on. You shut your lights off at your house, if you don't want people to come to your house.
But should we have a absolute ending time if people do go out? Or do we not want to get
Don't we
into that?
normally have Yeah, an we ending do. time every I year? think that's important.
Yeah, normally 7 PM,
And it is a important. Saturday night.
Yeah,
I mean, so the earlier the better.
yeah,
do 3 to 5. That's my
Well, it's
opinion.
light out.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's usually dark, Sure. darkness now is 6:40,
right.
and it gets darker earlier by,
Well, we don't change the clocks then anymore, so that's good.
right.
Not until after. Why don't we say no later than 6? Or 5, either one.
Yeah.
you know, and leave it up to the parents.
What are the current hours now? 4 to 7?
3 to
3 to
7.
7.
7?
I'd move we make it 3 to 6.
I'll second.
With not encouraging.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're
Okay,
gonna do it, here's the hours. Be
Okay.
safe.
Okay, so we do have the motion and a second. The hours would be 3 to 6. The village will not encourage it, but we'll say if you do it, you do it, you know, safely.
Possibly some of these suggestions that Highland Park put here, though, would be good to put in an article in the
For
newsletter.
sure.
Yeah.
Those are really good.
Anybody else have anything to add?
Are we gonna do any other activity? Well, let's just vote on that, I guess.
Okay, all those in favor of the first motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay, we have, I'm sorry, trustee DeGay, did you oppose or no?
I said yay.
Okay, so we have one opposed. Motion was passed, and do we want to vote on if we're doing any more activities?
Well, I think you got to investigate the feasibility of doing the event.
The event,
that,
okay, right. So
Trustee
it's yours.
Mills mentioned out the Now Arena.
Trustee Palafis.
I did do a quick iMessage during our discussion to Ben and Yusuf, and Ben's response was, I believe the drive-in will do some sort of movie. So trustee Mills, you're pulling strikes over there with some live zombies.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my goodness.
Not for little kids, then.
Volunteers are accepted. I'm just kidding. But no, so there's already some plans, so maybe
Okay.
it could play right into that.
Yeah, and they have been doing some double features out there where the early movie is for, you know, kind of younger folks, and then, you know, maybe a horror flick for the 10 PM show or something.
Okay, great.
But if we're thinking of doing the drive-through out that way that day, we'll need to check with him, and then we'd have to set those same earlier hours for
Maybe
that.
there's a gentleman named Scott who's basically rented the parking lot, like we're the landlord. And they're gonna go, like Ben said the other day, as long as they can until people stop showing up, so. But maybe doing something right before that, you know, feeds right into, you know,
Yeah.
his part of the event, like you'd mentioned.
And then they all have to be out of there by the time the movie's gonna start.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
that-
Yeah, there you go. But it's a great alternative, so they're already kind of thinking along those lines. So,
Maybe the park district will wanna have a table at ours too or something.
yeah.
Okay, so. Now for the,
Well, do we need to possibly bring that back next Monday at least, or?
Yeah, it sounds like I have some investigation to do, and some conversations that I need to have with, but not only the park district, but also the Now Arena staff, so,
Yeah.
yeah, we can talk about it next week if you'd like.
okay,
And you
anybody
need
have
to
anything?
figure out how we would do reservations then too.
Yeah.
And again, the park district has all those systems in place,
Yeah.
but we'll have to see what Now can come up with for us as well.
Does that still give you enough time for the newsletter?
I'm sorry?
Will that still give you enough time for the newsletter?
I think we can stretch it, yeah.
Does
Great.
anybody have anything else they'd like to add? Trustee Palafis?
Suzanne has some powerful influence over the newsletter dates, just saying.
I do.
Yeah.
Can make it happen for you.
That's right. So I think we're good.
Nobody else has anything else? I'd like to have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are now adjourned.
I'd like to call the roll for the first meeting of the month of September, on September 8th, 2020. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Stanton?
Present.
Trustee Gata?
Present.
Trustee Arnett?
Present.
Trustee Mills?
Present?
Trustee Newell?
Present.
Trustee Palafis?
Present.
Mayor McLeod?
President, can everybody please rise? You want to lead us in the pledge, Trustee Stanton?
My pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Stanton. This meeting, as all of our meetings, board and committee meetings, village meetings, is being telecast live and will be broadcast on our cable channels later in the week. This time, we'll move into recognition of the audience. This is the time for someone with a question or concern that they want to bring before the village board and the village staff. Now is the time to come forward. If you're at home and you have a question or concern, you can call 781-2621, and our wonderful village clerk will answer the phone, and we'll get your question. Seeing nothing, we'll move on for now. Chair to accept a motion to approve the minutes of the August 17th, 2020 meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion to second. Any questions or concerns on these minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. The approval of the minutes of the August 31st, 2020 special meeting.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions on these minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Move on to 5, consent agenda. Chair would accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to second on the consent agenda. The items on the agenda are 2A, approval of the agenda, and B, approval of the schedule of bills for September 8th, 2020, in the amount of $1,167,138.16. We do have a motion to second. Are there any questions on either of these items? Seeing none, can you pull the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills? Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. Move on to President's Report. It looks like we do have a few proclamations this evening.
Just a few.
Madam Clerk, who's got the first one?
I do, thank you. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community, and whereas the Public Works Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude towards assigned job tasks make a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 30 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by the virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the law of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Thursday, September 10th, 2020, as KERR Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We appreciate the great job Kelly has done for us. Pride of Montana. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Who's got the next one?
I have the next one. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the Development Service Department, Engineering Division, has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department and faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks makes a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 30 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the laws of the Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Friday, September 11th, 2020, as Terry White Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion a second. 30 years is a long time. Actually, I thought Terry's been around longer than that, to be honest with you. Seems like he's always been
Like
here.
forever.
He has been. We have a motion a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Who's got the next one?
I do, sir.
Ooh.
Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed towards the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the Finance Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community, and whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude towards assigned job tasks make a profile of this dedicated employee, and whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 25 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department, be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Friday, September 11th, 2020 as Rachel Musiala Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. We all very much appreciate the great job that Rachel has done. She really does exceptional work, and in all hands-on-deck manner, she's always willing to take on other assignments when they pop up. So we're very fortunate to have her on our team here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried.
I'll take the box if you want to hold it.
Let's figure out how we get you in the picture here.
Put it over here.
I think I got it. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. Smile. All right, looks great.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, who's next?
I am once again.
All right.
Office of the Mayor Proclamation, whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community, and whereas the Finance Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community, and whereas length of service, coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks, make a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 25 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by the virtue of authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Monday, September 14th, 2020, as Susan Wonderski Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion, a second. Sue has done an outstanding job for us and works very closely with many of the people here, and we really appreciate all she's done. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Who's next?
I am. Office of the Mayor Proclamation, whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the Fire Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks make a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 20 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department, be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims Friday, September 11th, 2020, as John Belden Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urges all employees and citizens of the village to join in us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee, who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, a great job. We love the great job that John's done for us. Have you noticed a pattern here? People like working here for many, many years. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Who's up next?
I am. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community, and whereas the Finance Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community, and whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude towards assigned job tasks make a profile of this dedicated employee, and whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 20 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department, be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Friday, September 11th, 2020, as Carol Crawl Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Carol's done wonderful work for us, and people oftentimes get their impression of the village by how they're treated when they come up for service at the front counter, and she's outstanding. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Who's up next?
I am. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services dedicated toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the Police Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks makes a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 20 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by the virtue of authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Tuesday, September 8th, 2020, as Scott Lawrence Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion to second. Scott's been a very fine employee for us also. We appreciate his dedication to the people of Hoffman Estates. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Who is next?
I am. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the Fire Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks makes a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 20 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Friday, September 11th, 2020, as Stephen Nusser Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to second. We appreciate the outstanding service that Steve has also provided the people of our community. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Any
Okay, I'm
grandparents in
bringing
the
up the
house? Who's
rear
doing this
here.
one?
I said, I'm bringing up the rear here,
All
with the
right,
last
hey.
one.
I knew there were some grandparents here.
Yep. Whereas on Sunday, September 13th, National Grandparents' Day, we honor those who have helped shape the character of our nation. And we thank these role models for their immeasurable acts of love, care, and understanding. And whereas American families have been guided and strengthened by the support of devoted grandparents, these mentors have a special place in our homes and communities. They ensure stories and traditions of our heritage are passed down through generations. And whereas grandparents witness great milestones in the lives of their children and grandchildren, they celebrate our early triumphs, console us when we are distressed, and cultivate our dreams. And whereas grandparents help ensure that cultural traditions and timeless values are passed on to future generations. Whether they are our own or surrogate grandparents who fill some of the gaps in our mobile society, our grandparents also provide our society a link to our national heritage and traditions. And nowadays, I think there's many of them doing e-learning with their grandchildren, I hear. Whereas National Grandparents' Day presents a chance to show our profound appreciation and respect for the central roles that family elders play in our lives. The legacy of these selfless caregivers is not only reflected in the principles and sense of purpose they inspire in their loved ones, but also in their unique ability to reach across ages and enrich the lives of generations of Americans. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims Sunday, September 13th, 2020, as National Grandparents' Day in the village of Hoffman Estates, and urges all residents and businesses of Hoffman Estates to join in its observance.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion a second, send a great shout out to all the grandparents out there who do outstanding work, and as Trustee Mills stated, many of them become teachers. If they weren't before, they are now, and they've really filled the gap during this pandemic, that's for sure. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. There's still time to go online to complete the census. It's critically important we all get counted in Hoffman Estates to ensure funding and representation. It's never too late. www.2020census.gov. That's www.2020census.gov. The census activities are scheduled to end on September 30th. There's a lawsuit going on about that, so we'll see. At this point, we're 81% self-reporting, which is high. We're higher than most of the communities in our area. So I think it's a tribute to the people of the community, and also the great job that Jen and Monica and Audra and all the folks have been doing on this. They've really organized it well, and they had a lot of events and ways of reaching people, which I appreciate. Also, I did get a email from a person around the corner of Illinois and Glendale. It looks like there's road work there, and it looks like the curbs and gutters aren't put in yet, and the sidewalks are not completed, and they're concerned about particularly kids riding their bikes and ended up where you don't want them to end up, as if they slip off the road a little bit. That's not good. Okay, we haven't had, other than our special meeting last Saturday, we haven't met in a while. On Tuesday, August 18th, we had our Village of Hoffman Estates EOC meeting as normal. And on, later that afternoon, I had a hour-long conversation with Senator Duckworth revolving around several issues. On August 19th, I attended my first Board of Directors meeting of PACE. It's very interesting. I'm looking forward to serving on the PACE board. I already am, so I'm doing it. But it's a very exciting opportunity. And that afternoon, we had our weekly Wednesday COVID call with the White House staff. On Saturday, the 22nd, they had a great recycling event at the Public Works Building. Many of you folks worked on it, as did our village staff and other employees. On the 26th, Trustee Stanton and I met with the owner of a BP gas station at Barrington and Higgins about his future plans. And on the 27th, I had the opportunity to attend Karen Gardner's retirement party. 39 years with the village, a long, long time. She did a great job for Health and Human Services, and I know all the people who she helped appreciate that. On Friday, August 28th, I had another Zoom meeting with the Northwest Council of Mayors Technical Committee. And on later after that, we had the Census Senior Bag Giveaway in the parking lot of this building. On Saturday, the 29th, we had the Census Pizza Giveaway event at Garibaldi's. We had people from the census there where people could fill out the forms and get counted, so that was very important. On the 1st, we had our EOC meeting again, a weekly Tuesday meeting, and also attended the Public Safety National Forum by Zoom, of course. And that evening, we had the virtual town hall meeting with the not-for-profits, with Bruce Seawick and Rebecca Dyer and Carrie Estrada and Nancy Gianni representing their organizations. I thought it was very interesting, and it was informative for people of what they're going through now and the challenges they face. On Wednesday the 2nd, I attended the Northwest Municipal Conference Executive Board meeting again by Zoom. And most of us had the opportunity to tour Bell Works, the old AT&T building, and see what progress they're making inside in the remodeling, and that's very exciting. Then later that afternoon, we had our Village Green ad hoc meeting that trustees Palafis and Gata chair. And that evening at 6, we had the Metro Mayor's Caucus call with all the mayors and with the Mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot. On Thursday the 3rd, we had a governor's call. The governor called on a census update. He is always very informative. Again, we had our special village board meeting on the 6th, and this morning, again, we had our EOC meeting in the morning. And that is all that I have for the moment. Move on to trustee comments. Trustee Stanton.
Thank you, sir. I don't like correcting people, especially you, Mayor.
That's okay.
But on the 26th, I was scheduled to meet with you with BP, but I unfortunately had to do 3 days of legal seminars to.
Oh, that's right.
So I wasn't able to make that
Somebody
meeting.
else sat in with me.
Yeah, on the 29th, I was able.
You had attendance of desire, though.
Yeah. On the 29th, I was able to attend the Census Pizza giveaway event. On the 1st of September, I was able to attend the virtual town hall meeting, the nonprofits in our community through Zoom. And on the following day, I was able to attend the tour of Bell Works. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, trustee Mills.
Thank you. I also attended the senior citizen giveaway, bag giveaway for the census on the 28th here at Village Hall, and Lillian's been doing an excellent job with the census too on that,
Yes, she
along with
is.
everyone else. So she gets everyone involved. And then the next day on the 29th, as the mayor said, we had the census event at Garibaldi's, which was very well attended. On the 1st, I sat in and listened to the virtual town hall meeting regarding nonprofits, which was an interesting evening. And the 2nd, September 2nd, taking the tour of Bell Works was amazing. You'd never know that it was what it used to be on that one section. They're really moving along, and it was hard to believe that they think they'll have some of it ready to be occupied within 4 to 6 weeks. So that should be great. I hope they're doing well trying to get some leases in there. On the 3rd, I also listened to the governor's census call, and that takes care of what I had these last couple weeks. That's it.
Okay, trustee Gata.
Here we go. On Saturday, the 22nd, of course, the recycling event at Public Works with trustee Anna Newell and trustee Karen Arnett. And it was nice and hot that day, although I didn't get a count to see how many cars actually went through. Maybe we can get that later. On Friday, August the 27th, the senior bag giveaway in the parking lot here at Village Hall. We had over 130 cars attend that morning. This was an idea from Chairperson Lillian of the Senior Citizens Commission. And because of the COVID-19, all senior luncheons were canceled, and she wanted to do something for the citizens of Hoffman Estates. So she came up with the idea, and there must have been about 25, 26 items in the bag, and they RSVP'd, and like I said, there was like 130 people that came through, which is a great salute to the Senior Citizens Committee, and also that we think enough about the senior citizens in Hoffman to do something for them. Let's see, Saturday, August 29th, attended the census at Pizza Giveaway, which was at Garibaldi's. And then on Tuesday, September 1st, a virtual town hall meeting that we were listening to. And the non-for-profit companies in our community, one was Wings, Women in Need, CAC, Children's Advocate Center for Healing of Abused Children, SHARE Program, Rehabilitation for Adults 18 years and older, and Gigi's Playhouse for people with Down syndrome. Thank Dr. Audra Marks, right, for from our Health and Human Services for putting on that program. Then on Tuesday, September 1st, special meeting with the mayor and chief boss here at Village Hall. Then on Wednesday, September 2nd, tour of Bell Works. It is amazing what we saw a year and a half ago or 2 years ago as compared to what we see now. Boy, when this place is finished, it's going to be a show place for Hoffman Estates. Then attended the Village Green ad hoc meeting here at Village Hall. And then on Saturday, September 11th, the special village board meeting that we had here at Village Hall. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Arnett.
Thank you. I was also able to help on August 22nd with their cycling event. My compliments to Public Works for putting on such a great event. On the 29th, also attended the Census Pizza Giveaway at Garibaldi's. And also on 9/6, I did attend the special board meeting. Also, congratulations to all of the proclamation recipients tonight. Everybody is definitely well-deserved. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Newell.
Okay, pretty much the same, but just want to say thank you to Trustee Arnett and Trustee Gata for working the recycle event. Thank you to staff, volunteers, and most of all to our residents who made the event really a great event, and a lot of cars. I can't give you a number, but I know that you could look as far as you can see and there were cars. So that was on the 22nd of August. On the 29th, did the Census Pizza Giveaway at Garibaldi's also with everyone. On the 1st of September, the virtual town hall for the nonprofits, which was a really great presentation to hear exactly the status of all these non-for-profits, and they don't give up. They just keep on going. Also on the 2nd, listen to the Mayor Lightfoot call, and that's all I have.
Thank you. With the final word, Trustee Palafis.
Thank you, sir. Like many of you, I was able to attend the sustainability event that they partner with Public Works and do such a great job. My Armada's big, and the whole thing was full with paint cans. From me, from the previous owner, I don't know. I think they just started breeding after a while. Somewhere around $100 is what I paid to get rid of them, and it was great having it here. And thank you to everybody who helped. It was good to see you out there and so engaged and involved. And great job, Suzanne, wherever you are, and staff for pulling it all together. It was just amazing and got the greatest of accolades. So hanging out in the building on the 26th, I joined the mayor for the BP meeting. As trustee Stanton's
Mystery
proxy.
solved.
Yeah, because he was doing legal recertifications and whatnot. And then afterwards, we met with Ben Gibbs for a little while, trying to figure out indoor events in the arena as the imminent cold days are coming. Then also had the pleasure of doing the Veterans Commission because we had 5 Sundays in August. So, you know, we always pick up that Sunday, and it's good to see everybody out there. It's like the one time everybody comes when we don't have a meeting. Thanks to staff for a lot of internal discussions and all the data points you pulled together around TIF discussions and different collaboration platforms and the pros and cons of all that. The tour of Bell Works was fantastic. It's really great to see their progress And look forward to watching how they populate that building. It was fun. The maintenance guy who was handing out the hard hats has been there since the building was built. And it was one of the key people they kept because he literally has everything in his head about what's happened to that place. So it was good to see him again, having been a previous Ameritech employee. It was weird being back in that building. We also, later that day, had the ad hoc committee meeting, which is great. Almost everybody showed up and gave their input. Again, many thanks to Ryan and Pete and the group for pulling all of those bids together and rolling them up, and in record time, dropping it into a part of the week where everybody could, with very little notice, get together and talk about phase one. Also, had another meeting with Kevin and some of the folks about the Higgins Old Sutton TIF and some of the things that were just being talked about and considered as a part of the future. Kind of moving into this week, again, many thanks to everyone who had done all the hard work to pull a lot of these meetings together. And it's kind of weird being here on a Tuesday. I thought it was Monday all day today because we had a meeting tonight. I'm going to be screwed up all week. So that's all for me, sir.
Okay, Mr. Now Arena here has jogged my memory. We need to take a look at when a vaccine is available, how's it going to be distributed? We'd have to work with the county, and we certainly have an arena that could be a great location. There was a drill done, well, so Todd Stroger was president of the county board, it's a long time ago, that the county utilized it as if there had been some sort of pandemic and they were administering the vaccine to folks. So we got to start thinking about that.
Yeah, maybe
Human and
Dr.
everybody
Monica
else.
could give us an update
Yeah,
sometime soon.
and
I
we
know
need-
she's on, so,
We need to chat with Ben too.
yeah.
But yeah, that's important because hopefully it's going to happen sooner rather than later. They got a lot of people working on it.
Along those lines, Mayor, I'm sorry, it's my turn.
No,
I'm
it's
on
okay.
over. If you all haven't had a chance, get out there and see. They're actually taking all the Sears Center stuff down and putting the Now stuff up. Like today was the scoreboard. So it's kind of cool watching the transformation, and the new color scheme is so much more appealing to the eye.
I will miss Roebuck though. Little squiggly guy.
I almost ran down to the arena floor and grabbed him, but people were watching me, so.
Actually, it's kind of big. It didn't look so big on the building,
No,
but it's pretty
no.
big. Thank you. We'll move on to 6C, the village manager's report.
Mayor, just to follow up on what you just mentioned, I know that our emergency management consortium has been talking about the eventual distribution of the vaccine, and they're already working with the county to try to figure out how that's going to happen. So I'll get an update from him and report back to
Good.
everyone on whether or not they're considering using the arena.
Yeah,
I
we
have
don't
no
wanna
other
get
report
caught
than that.
Flat-footed if they come up with a vaccine. What's our plan? Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thanks. Okay, we'll move on to 6D, village clerk's report.
During the month of August, we filled 144 FOIA requests. Early voting will start October 19th. I'm still encouraging people to apply for their mail-in ballots. We'll have a drop box here. I've been dealing with Cook County a little bit lately to try and figure out just what their plan is to have people safe in the building, and the drop box and a number of other things going on here. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll have that figured out, so everyone will stay safe.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll move on to committee reports, planning, building, and zoning. No.
Is there a deadline of when people can apply
For the mail-in ballot?
mail-in ballot?
No, but the ballot has to be postmarked by the November 3rd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the earlier the better. I mean, and then if we're going to have the drop box here, the drop box, what I was told today, they want inside the building and by the early voting room. And if they drop it off here November 2nd, which would be the last day that we would have it here, it's going to be good. So then you don't have to worry about getting a postmark by the 3rd, because if you're putting it in the box.
How soon will they bring the box in, do you know?
No.
I know.
No, it's like pulling teeth.
Second.
And I also have a meeting tomorrow night, the clerk's meeting, and it's gonna, our topic is the election, so maybe people have gotten more information from the county than what's been, it's really hard getting stuff from the county. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Ring, do you have something you want to say?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, trustees. The Village of Hoffman Estates Planning and Zoning Commission voted to recommend the approval of a request by Charles.
We don't have you on the agenda, Greg.
Oh,
No. When was your meeting?
our meeting was the 19th of August. Yeah, we didn't have one on the 2nd.
Wow. I thought you just came to
The
see the
agenda.
meeting. No, it's not. We'll have to make sure it's on the agenda for the next meeting. We're sorry. Yeah, very sorry about that. Well, they had a good
You
education.
guys,
Thanks for coming
We were
by.
kind of wondering why you were here.
you know what, it's the first time I've had a chance to come and see you guys in a while, so it's always great, and I know you've missed me.
Sorry about that.
So,
What was the topic on? Just,
Sure.
what was the matter that was before you?
The matter before us was a variation on a setback, side patio.
Okay. For a homeowner?
Yes, sir. What's the address? The address was 1230 Hunters Ridge West.
Okay.
That should have been on the agenda for tonight.
Well, could we do a special on next Monday and just have that item on the agenda?
Yes, we will. Sure.
Okay. Can you come back next Monday?
For real.
I will do my best to either be here
Okay.
or Ava will be here.
I say, it's not on the agenda. We can't do anything that's not on the agenda. That's just,
Certainly,
you know.
certainly. No, I know that I was asked to be here, so, well, it's good to
Okay.
see you guys. I'll see you next Monday or Ava will be.
Tell us, that's all.
Then I'll have
It's
made
nice
my
to see you,
second,
though.
then I'll have made my second meeting, okay?
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
Greg.
Okay. Planning and Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Stanton.
Yeah, we are on the agenda for tonight.
Okay.
Actually, we'll be meeting on September 14th, 2020, right here in the council chambers. We'll have a roll call to establish a quorum, then approval of the minutes for August 3rd, 2020, and then September 8th, 2020, the special meeting. And then we have 4 items of new business. First is a request by a la carte entertainment for a courtesy review to redevelop the vacant building at 2575 Higgins Road with a gas station, convenience store, and restaurants. Second is a request approval of Barrington Square Town Center TIF reimbursement request number 5 in the amount of $4,703,954.84. Third is a request approval of a resolution supporting a Cook County Class B classification renewal application for property tax assessment purposes for the existing DMG Maury facility located at 2400 Huntington Boulevard. And fourth is a request approval of a resolution for a purchase and sale agreement between the Village of Hoffman Estates and ABY GOLF Incorporated for the sale of 7585 Gulf Road. We will then go to reports for information only. First is the Planning Division Monthly Report. Second, Code Enforcement Division Monthly Report. Third, Economic Development and Tourism Monthly Report. Then we will go to the President's Report. We have nothing in other at this time or items in review, and then we will adjourn.
Thank you. General Administration Personnel, Trustee Arnett.
Thank you. Immediately following the Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee, we will call to order the General Administration and Personnel Committee for the Village of Hoffman Estates on September 14th, 2020. We will begin with a roll call, then move into the approval of minutes for August 3rd, 2020, and also, shouldn't we add for tonight's meeting, for the special meeting?
Yeah, there should be a second item there.
Yeah, there should be a second minutes.
I don't know if they'll be able to turn it around that quickly. I do, but I can't speak for somebody else.
Okay. Yep, okay. We have one new item under new business, request approval to dispose of village records that have exceeded their state-required retention period. We'll then move on to reports for information only. Number 1 is a cable TV monthly report. Number 2 is a human resources management monthly report. Number 3 is a legislative operations and outreach monthly report. We'll then move into President's Report. If there's anything in other or items in review, they will go on for an adjournment.
Okay, Transportation and Road Improvement, Trustee Mills.
Transportation Road Improvement Committee will also meet next Monday evening following General Administration and Personnel. After doing a roll call to establish our quorum and approving the minutes of August 3rd, we have 2 items. One, under new business, is request approval of an intergovernmental agreement to recertify a quiet zone at the Canadian National Rail Crossing on Shoe Factory Road. And 2 is a review of a request for removal of designated handicap parking space on Danbury Place. We'll also, for informational-only purposes, look at the Transportation Division Monthly Report before we go into the rest of the evening and with the adjournment.
Thank you, Trustee Mills. Move on to 7 additional business. We've got 3 items. A, request board approval of an ordinance amending Section 8-3-22, number of licensors of Article 3 alcoholic liquors of the Hoffman Estates Municipal Code, decrease in number of Class A licenses for North Hoffman Restaurant Group, LLC, doing business as Jersey Pizza and Grill, 2360 Lakewood Boulevard, and Conference Center and Banquet Services, LLC, doing business as Stonegate, 2401 Higgins Road. Chair would accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion on these items? Seeing none, can you poll the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. Move on to 7B. Request board authorization to award contract for the Village Green Phase 1 Improvement Project to V3 Construction Group Limited, Woodridge, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $911,000. This was presented in committee prior to this meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? If not, can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. 7C, request board consideration of a recommendation from the General Administration and Personnel Committee regarding directions on proceeding with Halloween trick or treat hours. I believe we did limit the hours to 3 to 6, and we're investigating the possibility of doing something out at the Now Arena. Is that my recollection correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Chair would accept a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Stanton?
Nay.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. Chair will accept it. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. We are adjourned.